The WTA just lit a bomb and dropped it right in the middle of its own tour, and the fallout from that explosion is going to destroy careers and reputations before this is all over. The new sex testing eligibility policy is a total disaster that the players have finally decided to fight back against with everything they have. This has nothing to do with fairness and everything to do with control, and the WTA just got exposed for the corrupt organization that they really are. The mainstream tennis media is not giving you the full story because they are too busy protecting the establishment and burying the truth deep underground where they hope nobody will find it. That is exactly why you are here right now, because you are a truth seeker who refuses to be fed propaganda by the same people who created this mess in the first place. Hit that subscribe button right now and join the Inner Circle membership to help fund the independent investigation into the tour's backstage secrets that they are desperate to keep hidden. Use the hype button and super thanks to support the fight against the WTA's corruption, because the receipts are about to go public and you absolutely need to be here when that happens. The policy was announced back in July of 2026, and within just a few weeks it had already torn the entire sport apart from the inside out. The Sport and Rights Alliance formally requested that the WTA scrap the policy entirely, and they described it as discriminatory right there in the official documents. That is a devastating blow to the tour's credibility, and the paper trail is crystal clear about what really happened. The documents prove that the policy was rushed through without any real consultation with the players, who would actually have to live under its rules every single day. The WTA thought they could just drop this bomb and everyone would fall in line without asking any questions, but they were dead wrong about that assumption. Sabalenka and Gauff are not just tennis players who hit a ball for a living. They're heroes who are standing up against a broken system that has been rigged against the athletes from the very beginning. They voiced their concerns loud and clear for the entire world to hear, and now the establishment is absolutely terrified of what might happen next. Sabalenka knows exactly what it means to fight for everything she has ever earned, and she is not about to let some executive in a boardroom dictate what happens to her body without a fight. Gauff is the voice of her generation, and she is using her massive platform to expose the truth that the WTA thought they could keep hidden forever. These two champions are leading a full-scale rebellion, and the WTA has absolutely no idea how to handle what is coming straight at them. This is the exact same cultural flashpoint that has already consumed the WNBA and the NCAA, and the WTA just walked straight into the middle of it without any kind of plan or strategy to protect themselves. U.S. audiences are deeply polarized on this issue, and the policy is a powder keg that could explode at any moment and take the entire tour down with it. The WTA is the villain in this story, an establishment that is accused of bending to external political pressure instead of listening to the athletes who actually play the game. They are treating their own players like lab rats in an experiment and hiding behind a veil of bureaucracy that is designed to confuse and frustrate anyone who asks too many questions. The truth is finally exposed for everyone to see, because they care more about optics and appearances than they care about the women who actually make the sport what it is. The policy itself is invasive and humiliating for every player who has to go through it, and the testing demands go far beyond anything anyone in the sport has ever had to endure before. It singles out players and creates a culture of suspicion and fear that is poisoning the locker room from the inside out. The Sport and Rights Alliance called it exactly what it is: discriminatory, and that word carries so much weight that the WTA is feeling the pressure from every direction. They try to spin it as a necessary measure for fairness, but everyone with half a brain can see right through those lies. This is about control, and it is about silencing voices that the establishment does not want to hear. The backlash was so fierce and so immediate that a major advocacy group formally demanded the suspension of the policy within weeks of its announcement. That is not a small thing to dismiss. That is a declaration of war against the entire WTA leadership structure. The WTA thought they could weather the storm, but the storm has become a hurricane that is destroying everything in its path. Players are talking to each other behind the scenes, and the mood in the locker room is uglier than anything anyone has ever seen before. Sabalenka and Gauff are not backing down, and their courage is inspiring other players to finally speak up about what they have been feeling for months. The locker room is a war zone, and the WTA is the enemy that everyone is united against. What happened off camera, however, completely changed the game, and nobody saw it coming until it was too late. The players realized that the WTA did not consult them before dropping this policy on their heads without any warning at all. They were blindsided by the announcement, and the rulebook confirms that any major policy change is supposed to involve player representation at every step of the process. That clause was completely ignored by the people in charge, who thought they knew better than everyone else. The WTA just decided to act like they were above their own rules, and that arrogance is going to cost them absolutely everything they have built. The players are furious, and they have every single right to be furious about what has been done to them. The WTA's PR machine went into overdrive the moment the backlash started, but it was too late to stop the damage from spreading. They tried to paint the policy as a simple eligibility check that nobody should have a problem with. But the receipts show a much darker picture than they ever wanted anyone to see. The documents prove that this was pushed through to satisfy outside political forces who have no business interfering in the sport whatsoever. The WTA sold out its own players to avoid a fight with powerful institutions, and that is a betrayal of the highest order that the players will never forget. Sabalenka's stance is particularly powerful because she has absolutely nothing left to prove to anyone in this sport. She is a champion who has fought through injuries and heartbreak to reach the very top of the mountain. She is not afraid of the WTA or anyone else who tries to stand in her way. When she speaks, people listen because she has earned that right through years of blood and sweat on the court. She called out the policy for what it really is, and the world took notice of her courage. Gauff is right there beside her, using her platform to amplify the message that the players will not be silenced. These two are the heart and soul of the player revolt, and the WTA is completely powerless to stop them from speaking the truth. The tour is now deeply divided between players who support the policy because they believe it protects the integrity of women's sports, and those who see it as an attack on their dignity. That is a legitimate viewpoint on both sides, and it is causing a massive rift in the locker room that might never fully heal. The hero is the Sport and Rights Alliance, and the players who see this as an affront to human dignity and basic privacy. They are fighting to protect athletes from invasive testing that serves no purpose other than to control their lives. This is a battle for the soul of the entire tour, and the stakes could not possibly be higher for everyone involved. The WTA leadership is scrambling to contain the damage, but every move they make just exposes their incompetence even further. They are holding emergency meetings and trying to find a way out of this mess, but the exit signs are all pointing toward disaster. They thought they could dictate terms to the players, and the players are proving them wrong at every single turn. The villain is in total meltdown mode as the lies unravel and the truth finally sees the light of day. They are facing a catastrophic career downfall of their own making, and nobody is going to feel sorry for them when it happens. Let us break down exactly what the WTA did wrong, because the list is longer than anyone expected. First, they did not consult the players, and that is a fundamental breach of trust that cannot be forgiven or forgotten. Second, they rushed the policy through without proper testing or research to back up their claims. Third, they ignored the advice of advocacy groups who warned them this would cause a massive backlash. The rulebook is clear about the process, and the WTA broke the rules without a second thought. They are now paying the price for their incompetence, and the bill is coming due. The financial evidence is also piling up against them as sponsors get nervous about being associated with a tour accused of discrimination. The WTA is risking its commercial future by digging in its heels and refusing to back down. The players know this, and they are using it as leverage in the fight. Sabalenka and Gauff are not just fighting for themselves, they are fighting for the future of the entire sport. They are fighting for every woman who will come after them. And that is a legacy-defining moment that will be remembered for generations. The backstage war is getting uglier by the day as the WTA tries to divide the players and pick them off one by one. They're using pressure tactics and trying to silence the voices of dissent through intimidation and fear. But the players are united, and they are not afraid of anything the WTA throws at them. The documents prove that the WTA is engaging in a campaign of intimidation, and the players are documenting everything that happens. The receipts are about to go public and the WTA is terrified of what will be revealed. The industry is now distancing itself from the WTA because nobody wants to be associated with a sinking ship. Coaches, agents, and former players are all speaking out against the policy and trying to protect their own reputations. The WTA is becoming toxic, and everyone wants to jump off before they get dragged down too. The villain is isolated and desperate, and their options are running out very quickly. They can either back down and face the music or dig in and risk a total player rebellion that could splinter the tour forever. Sabalenka's body language on court tells the whole story if you know how to read it. She is playing with a fire that was not there before, and she is channeling all that anger into her game. She is destroying everyone in her path, and the opponents are just collateral damage in this war. She is fighting for something much bigger than a trophy. She is fighting for her dignity and for the dignity of every woman on tour. Gauff is right there with her, playing with a purpose that is absolutely terrifying to watch. The WTA thought they could control the narrative, but they lost that battle a long time ago. The truth is out, and there is no putting it back in the box where it came from. The players are speaking up, and the fans are behind them every step of the way. Mainstream media is finally starting to ask the hard questions that should have been asked from the very beginning. The WTA is on the defensive, and they have no good answers to any of the allegations against them. The policy is a disaster, and everyone knows it. What happens next will define the future of the entire tour for years to come. Will the WTA back down and consult the players as demanded, or will they dig in and risk a rebellion that could splinter the tour forever? The unresolved question is hanging over every match and every tournament that is played. Every match is a referendum on the policy, and the players are using their platforms to send a message. The WTA cannot stop them, and this is a war that the players are winning. The Sport and Rights Alliance is not backing down from their demand, and they have made it crystal clear. Scrap the policy immediately, and do not waste any more time with excuses. They are not asking for negotiations or compromises because the policy is fundamentally flawed. They are demanding action, and they have the moral authority to do so. The WTA is cornered, and their excuses are falling on deaf ears. The documents prove that they ignored the experts and rushed this through without any regard for the consequences. They have no one to blame but themselves for the disaster that has unfolded. The villain's reputation is in a free fall of their own making, and there is no stopping the descent. The WTA thought they would destroy Sabalenka and Gauff, but they only destroy themselves in the process. They show the world that they care more about politics than people, and that is a stain that will never wash away. The legacy of this decision will haunt them for decades, and they will never live it down. The truth is finally exposed, and the WTA is humiliated beyond measure. This is not just about a policy, it is about power and who gets to decide what is fair. It is about who gets to define what it means to be a woman in sports. The WTA tried to seize that power for themselves, and they failed miserably. The players fought back, and they won the first battle in this war. The truth is finally exposed, and the WTA is left with nothing but shame. They are the architects of their own destruction, and the world is watching them burn. The final verdict is in, and there is no appeal to a higher court. The WTA thought they could control the players, but the players proved them wrong. Sabalenka and Gauff are not just champions on the court, they are champions for justice. They stood up to the establishment, and they came out on top. The WTA is left in ruins, scrambling to pick up the pieces of their shattered reputation. They are the villain, and they got exactly what they deserved in the end. Every match from now on will be played under a cloud of suspicion and tension. The players are fighting for their rights, and the WTA is fighting for its survival. The tension is palpable, and it is not going away anytime soon. The fans are taking sides, and the divisions are deep and painful. This is the story that will not go away, and this is the scandal that has consumed the tour from top to bottom. The WTA tried to silence the heroes, but the heroes would not be silenced no matter what. Sabalenka and Gauff showed the world what real courage looks like in the face of overwhelming opposition. They showed the world that players have power when they stand together as one. They showed the world that the establishment can be beaten if you refuse to back down. The receipts are public, and the truth is undeniable for anyone with eyes to see. The WTA is the villain, and their reign of error is finally over. They thought they could hide behind procedure and bureaucracy, but that shield shattered under the weight of the truth. They thought they could bully the players into submission, but that strategy backfired spectacularly. The players are smarter, stronger, and more united than the WTA ever imagined possible. The rebellion is real, and it is gaining momentum with every passing day. The WTA is falling apart, and they have no one to blame but themselves for this catastrophe. This is the moment the tour changed forever, and nobody will ever forget what happened here. The players took a stand, and the establishment crumbled under the pressure. The WTA is exposed as a corrupt and incompetent organization that does not care about its athletes. The heroes are vindicated, and the villains are defeated. The truth has finally come out, and it is a beautiful thing to witness. So where does the WTA go from here after everything that has happened? They can either learn from their mistakes or continue down the path of destruction that they have chosen. The evidence is clear, and the policy is discriminatory, and it must be scrapped without delay. The players have spoken, and they will not be ignored by anyone ever again. The WTA needs to listen, or they will face total collapse. The ball is in their court, and the entire world is watching to see what they do next. Sabalenka and Gauff will not stop fighting for what is right. They have a responsibility to their fellow players and to the next generation of athletes who will follow in their footsteps. They are the leaders of this revolution, and they are not backing down from the fight. The WTA can run, but they cannot hide from the truth that has been exposed. The truth is out, and it is devastating for those who try to bury it. The villain has been exposed, and their downfall is complete. They thought they were untouchable, but they were wrong about everything. They are human, and they have failed. The final match point belongs to the heroes.